This is Skull and Bones. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a great pirate adventure like in Sea of Thieves, but it's also not really that great either. Anyways, let's dive into what I mean by there as we take a look at the game running here on Xbox Series S. So first up, we have the quality mode. It's the first of two options, and this is going to be dynamic resolution scaling to quite a degree. This is the quality mode, like I mentioned, which is basically in line with Series X's performance mode, minus the performance. So it's a 1440p up to a 1440p resolution at 30 FPS. Now, it does also claim that the ray tracing, which is supposed to be global illumination, is applied. So that is kind of interesting that they were able to still offer that sort of option. And then we move to performance mode, which will drop the ray tracing and kind of give you a little bit of a muddier picture. There's mouse and keyboard support, there's HDR support, and yeah, games go up to like, I think it's like 20 players in an open world lobby area. So this is where things a lot lower resolution. So this is like up to 1080p, again dynamic resolution scaling, but this one looks a lot more like 720p like a lot of the time. So you know what, like honestly, for the Series S, we've got two pretty good quality options for how this game runs. The Series S is always a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get with this console, and honestly, it's great to have an option that looks a little bit better and one that does look a little bit worse. Now, with that, it does look like FSR is applied, otherwise I have no idea how the water looks as awful as it does. And in a game where you spend 90% of your time in the water, you would think that the water would look pretty good, especially considering the development of this allegedly quadruple A game that has been in development here. It's a little bit weird that the visuals do leave a little bit to be desired in terms of just the scale and the design of it. But hey, we've got a 60 FPS mode here. It could be a lot worse. Do I have any cannons? Not many, because I'm always out of ammo. So yeah, let's just quickly take a look at the game from a perspective of quality mode when we're out here on the water, just so you can see that in action. I would... see, this one's hard, because to me, this game is honestly, it's incredibly boring. Incredibly boring, and it's just slow, and it goes on forever. So it's a little hard on the Series S side of things to give you a great recommendation for either performance or quality, because either way, it's like... okay, if you're having a more relaxed sailing time where you're not necessarily sitting there like feeling as though combat is the biggest part of your role in a pirate game, the quality mode is okay. It looks better. I mean, it's at the performance level of the Series X in terms of like the visuals, not the performance. So yeah, you know what? I think you might be able to find that the quality mode is okay to go. Can we harvest this from the rock? Okay, there we go. The game's also filled with mini-game harvesting adventures. It's like a mobile game masquerading itself as a quadruple A game. And it is also something like, it's basically like World of Warships, but like less depth and detail. And it's like a full price game, which I find very, very strange. If you're expecting a game where you as a pirate can board other ships, you're gonna have to go play Sea of Thieves instead, as this game just does not offer that sort of thing. When you're on land, you're doing a quick little linear walk where there's no combat, action, or excitement. So yeah, you really just don't do a lot in this. Honestly, it's one of the most perplexing games I've seen. Because if you were making a pirate game, you would think you would want your pirate game to have, like, pirate things. Especially a pirate game that's been in development for apparently like 11 years. You know, like a good decade and a little bit after that, since Sea of Thieves has more pirate stuff in it, came out like almost half a decade ago at this point. You would just think a basic thing, such as, I don't know, boarding and battling as a pirate, would be a feature in your pirate video game. it's like a very, very basic concept that you would expect in some sort of pirate experience. Now, you might also get like the odd crash and stuff like that. It's not too common. It did show up when I was doing my Series X review, which is kind of funny. But like, yeah, it's just like when you think of being a pirate, you think of, oh, we're gonna go and grab treasure, we're gonna board other ships and do pirate battles, we're gonna sail. And it's just like, they basically took the concept from Sid Meier's Pirates from like 2 decades ago, that remake, and didn't evolve the formula. They actually devolved the formula. It's so perplexing. I honestly, like, I can't even really comprehend this one. Like, it's just the most bizarre experience. And it's like, yeah, sure, we've got lots of little decorative things that are basically, like, some of them are premium currency, microtransactional, like, things that you can, like, personalize your ship, you know, like, you can customize your pet thing, and this character here, she's supposed to be, like, my first mate, been here, like, the whole game. I think she said, like, 2 sentences at the beginning, and then she just stands here. It'd be cool if you could personalize your first mate and have them, like, do things or say things, and she just stands there. You can't even really personalize your crew, you could just change their outfits. It's like, you would think a pirate game would maybe have a bit more, I don't, like, personalize, like, especially for this long, it's like, what were they doing when they were making this game? Like, it's just, it's perplexing that something like this that looks like it could be a 360 era video game is so bare bones. Like, the game itself is kind of lengthy and really repetitive missions. I guess we should talk to that structuring in case you were sort of perplexed by that. So, essentially, what you do is you're a worthless pirate that everyone laughs at and mocks and says is a joke. And then, like, you work your, well, you don't work your way up. Then you go and you do, like, a fetch quest, or, you know, basically the equivalent of a fetch quest, you know, tack a boat, grab an item, and then you sail back. Most of your time's just spent slowly sailing and meandering. There's not really a whole lot going on in this game, to be honest. But you go out, you do your thing, you come back, the pirate dude goes, rah rah, pirate banter. You know, the water's like pixelated, eh? Like, a lot of the stuff in this game's pixelated. Even on Series X, it's amazing. So, you go out, you come back, pirate dude does, like, pirate buzzwords. You go out, you do another thing. After several hours, you're done with pirate dude. Then you go and you do this black market stuff. And then when that's done, you go and you meet this other pirate person across the pirate ocean, and you do more things for several, like, it's just, there's just no, like, real layering of depth or excitement behind it. It's just kind of boring. That is the biggest thing. And you know what? Sometimes there's, like, world events and things that are going on, and it's so weird because it's like a game where you'd expect there to be lots of, like, other pirate ships. Like, it feels like it's supposed to be an MMORPG, but it's really kind of not, and you don't really run into people too often. And sometimes you see them in world events, but sometimes at really high levels, and sometimes you face off against really high levels and really low areas. And it's just so disjointed and random and all over the place. I thought for a game like this, you would be doing, like, the ultimate pirate adventure. You'd be going to places, you'd be seeing things. Think of, like, I thought it'd be more like Sea of Thieves, but, like, mature. You know what I mean? Like, more of a mature pirate thing. And it's like, it's not even really historical or anything like that. It's just kind of a silly game. It really genuinely is. But you know what? On Series S, it's not that bad in terms of what they're providing you for game modes, and it actually seems to be pretty steady for performance. And sure, the resolution is just like all over the place, but like, it could be a lot worse. It's nice that they actually, like, again, Ubisoft, they always nail that for like the Series S and the different consoles. They give you good optimized versions for various platforms. Usually there's some performance stuff, but like it's also a game that you think would be more technically impressive. Maybe not for Series S, but maybe for Series X, I guess you would say, where it's just like, you're just in the water. You're just going across water, repetitive water textures with like some stuff in the backdrop, like some cities to plunder, some various repeating goal little side world activities. It's just like, it should be a lot more technically impressive than like 2D assets that turn into 3D as you kind of go by. And I don't know, it's just like, for the amount of time that has passed since this game was started, you can't help but feel like the resources just weren't effectively used in a satisfying and interesting way that made this intricate and exciting. You just do the same sort of tasks over and over again, pondering, when is something exciting going to happen? If you like to just sail and you do the occasional shot against a ship and you go, oh, well, that's fun and engaging and calming, then yeah, you know what? Maybe you found your match with this particular game. If you're looking for something with a little bit more of an edge or a thrill to it, this just isn't your experience. I really, really wanted this to be something more than it was. I literally came in basically blind on this one. I didn't play any betas. I didn't see really any preview stuff. I really came in fresh with a very, very open mind that was soon seemingly drifting off into the distance, because it just kind of like, as I said, it really does meander. This is as exciting as the game gets, is coming out here and like shooting the occasional ship and battling stuff, and it's like, yeah, there's some crazier ships, and there's some cool world event type things that you might run into, but like, the gameplay just really doesn't get any crazier than this. And it's kind of cool to blast stuff and hit the red markers that look like they're from Lost Planet as the acrid. It's kind of like Lost Planet but in boats. It's just like, it's really, really strange. Like, I wanted this to be an ultimate pirate adventure. I think someday we're going to get an ultimate pirate adventure, one that goes even further than what we've seen with other pirate games. But I just sit here and it's like, sure, at times it could be a little lovely as the night goes into the day and the day goes into the night and all that kind of stuff, and the weathering storms that go on, but there's just no real layering of teeth or excitement behind this game. It's one where you're just kind of sitting there waiting almost for it to be over, for you to move on. And like, some people, as I said, might find this genuinely to be intriguing, and that's totally cool. That's what Ubisoft does, is they try to provide a specific type of game and game genre that some players really like. And if you get hooked into that gameplay genre for this particular title, you're getting a lot of gameplay. Like, you can sit there and you can play this for countless hours, and I guess endgame wise you can just keep replaying and redoing things. But if you are looking for something that's a little crazier, a little bit more exciting, it's just like, I don't think you're really gonna get that there. Like, you literally sit here and you do like these kind of really lame harvesting mission things where it's just like, I'm pressing a button to slowly grab some bananas. Oh, sorry, those are coconuts. There's bananas too. There's lots of bananas out there. And I just kept waiting for like anything interesting to kind of really kick off and happen, and I was just kind of like a really laid back pirate time. I wonder if we get over here. It's the last part of this area I'm missing for an achievement. And I just was like, holy. And it's like, it's an online game, so it's a continuously played world. So at some point, probably when this isn't like a massive success or major success, This will all just vanish some way down the road. I don't know how long that'll be. Who knows? Maybe I'll be completely wrong. This will be a big hit that everyone loves, and we'll get like 9,000 seasons of content out of it. It's really hard to say. But for me, I'm just like, I'd be hard-pressed to find something interesting to actually, like, spend my time doing in this. And I've really, really, genuinely tried. I've streamed countless hours of it. It's just not that exciting. At least for me. I don't know. Maybe for some other people, it'll be thrilling. It'll hit the mark. It'll be the pirate adventure you've been waiting for. Or maybe I guess you've probably just never played Sea of Thieves or heard of it. That one is kind of like this, but there's more, depth and detail, and there's more stuff going on. And yeah, I don't know what they were going for on this. It's just weird. Like, at the end of the day, I really just want this to be a lot better than it is. This is how the boarding works. You just somehow grapple onto them, and then you're just in, like, this quick little thing where you're getting, like, boarding info. I can't even be bothered to really care about a lot of what's going on here. You just somehow sink a limitless selection of ships. We just completely went backwards for the technology that this game was founded upon, which was this Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is now a relic of its own time too now at this point. It's like, you think they would maybe re-release that one, like remaster it to tie in with this? Allegedly, it's getting remade down the road, so maybe when you're watching this video, it'll be like out and about. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. It really is. Like, I really at most kind of am just like super bored of it, super indifferent. It's just kind of eh. There's just nothing about this game that really gets me like excited or intrigued about what it is offering or where it could go down the road. You're just sailing around and then like hoping it kind of ends. I wonder if we can like thread the needle and get through here. Sometimes you can. No, not one of those spaces. I guess only if you have a smaller ship you can get through here. And yeah, it's just like I've seen many games that are kind of like this and do sort of the same thing, but there's nothing to this one that specifically makes it stand out beyond the elements of what we've played in prior pirate games. It's not as like in-depth and detailed as Sea of Thieves. It doesn't do anything different from Sid Meier's Pirates except for online stuff. And the online stuff itself is just so, I want to say to some level, convoluted in the sense that it's kind of like, I guess you would say it's a little hard to rally up and connect because there's all these levels of you having to get like certain ships going, being like good enough to work together. Like I don't know how to describe that. Like you come across things in the environment and run across other people at random events and stuff, which is kind of cool. But like if you do actually want to be able to play with your pals and stuff, it's like the amount of, I guess you would say, legwork and stuff. I don't really know if it's worth it. Tried to get a pal to kind of get into it, and it's just like the time they couldn't even be bothered, and they also found that it wasn't really too riveting or exciting to be something that they actually wanted to come in and play. And yes, this game's just kind of all over the place. I don't, you may sit here and be like, oh, he just kind of hates this thing, and it's really, really quite a case of, I would say, indifference, which is almost worse. I'm just not super excited or hyped up about it, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, it's a game I played, a pirate game I've played other pirate games that I've liked more, but I could see some people really liking the gameplay loop, spending a ton of time doing it. For me, I'm just kind of like, oh, can't wait till to be wrapped up on this one and kind of moving on. But yeah, I think there is a type of audience probably out there for this one. I don't know. They're already playing other pirate games, or if this is going to be revolutionary for them, but I can't wait and see. I think the biggest thing, though, to take away from my thoughts on this game, just the fact that this actually does provide a decent experience on Series S in terms of the technical elements. Maybe even more impressive not like exactly to scale to Series X, but just in terms of what this one offers for Series S in its situation, it's not a bad effort.